Alrighty, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. My name's CJ Curry. It's the CJ Curry Show. It's presented by PrizePicks. Guys, if you're not playing on PrizePicks yet, it's a great time to get started. PrizePicks is making daily fantasy sports easy. You choose anywhere from 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 6 of your favorite stars from your favorite sports. You choose whether or not they're going to go for more or less on their projection, and you could win up to 25 times your money. In fact, yours truly won 225x entries over the weekend. Some of you guys saw it in yesterday's video. We were praying for that third 25x to come through, but Stefon Diggs, man. Oh my Lord. Stefon Diggs and Josh Allen and that Buffalo Bills offense did not look good last night against the Denver Broncos, a defense that's not really known to be that good of a defense. And yet Stefon Diggs and Josh Allen did not have very good nights. In fact, they probably had what I would say is their worst performances of this season. And, we're pretty much through halfway, over the halfway mark of the season. This was by far their worst game. And right when we needed it the most, right? We needed Diggs to have a good game to get over 18 fantasy score. And unfortunately, it just wasn't meant to be. It just wasn't meant to be. The Broncos did a really good job of kind of controlling the clock. They ran a lot of time when they had possession of the ball. I mean, they're just one of those offenses that, they're not going to be an up-tempo style team. They're not going to get up and down the field real quick. They're not going deep a whole lot. I mean, they're going to dink and dunk and run. And they were able to kind of control the clock and time of possession, man. The Bills seemed like they barely had the ball. And then when they did have the ball, Allen have 2 picks, a lost fumble. Anyway, I'm over it. Unfortunately, Stefon Diggs didn't get us there. But I appreciate everybody joining me nonetheless. 88 of you watching, 28 likes. Let's try to get the likes up to the same level as the viewers that are watching. We're going for 100 or more likes as we typically do on all of these live streams. So I appreciate all the support. When you guys hit that like button, what it does is basically forces YouTube to push this video content out to more people out there on YouTube. So let's get the word out. Let's spread the message. It's also very important that you guys are subscribed and that you've turned on notifications, all notifications for the channel. So that way you get alerted anytime I post some new content here, whether that may be me going live or posting a pre-recorded video. You got to have those notifications turned on because YouTube doesn't always do a great job of sending those alerts out. You may not see my video in your YouTube feed, in other words. So have those notifications turned on with the all option selected is probably your best bet so you don't miss out on anything. Because I've heard some of you folks say, hey, I didn't know you were back on YouTube. Hey, I didn't know you were doing a live stream. Hey, I didn't get your video. Make sure all those notifications are turned on. Click the bell and turn on all notifications. Anyway, let's run through the chat. We got a lot of friendly faces, familiar friends in the audience so far today. Delvin's in the building. Shindog, shout out to you. Let's get this bread. Love that energy. Yeah, we got a nice size NBA slate. We're gonna definitely look at some picks. It's Taco Tuesday. So we got an SGA taco already on the board. We're gonna break that one down and see if that's looking like a crunchy, fresh taco, or if it's gonna be one that maybe we should avoid. Or we could also potentially take the under on his original pre-discounted line. There's a lot of different ways that we can go, so we'll look at that one. Jay says that the tacos are trash. So there you go. I mean, you've already got Jay's 2 cents on the Taco Tuesday situation. Jay Me says, CJ the Don, GOAT. No GOAT. I'm just a normal human being trying to help you guys win some money, but I appreciate all the kind words. Neville's in the building. Emo says, can we get a collective FU to Diggs? Yeah, I mean, pretty much, right? Pimp Paul, Chokefalo Bills. Yeah, the Bills just fired their offensive coordinator this morning. By the way, the offensive coordinator for Buffalo's gone. Poor guy. But hey, when you don't perform, this is a high level job here. High situation. There's a lot at risk in these NFL games. Players, coaches, there's a lot on the line here. If you're not performing, they're going to kick your ass out. I don't care who you are. So long, sucker. Nah, I'm sorry. That was kind of rough. But he did not obviously fulfill his duties as offensive coordinator, so he's got to go. Gutta. It's not Diggs' fault. It's Allen's fault. Yeah, Allen didn't play his best ball last night. Allen has been, at least for fantasy football purposes, the best quarterback, the #1 fantasy football quarterback. That doesn't always mean that you're a good real-life quarterback or vice versa, but Allen's been pretty good overall. But yes, Good for an interception over the last like 6-7 games in a row. I think he's thrown a pick, so it's unfortunate. But he'll figure. Shout out to you, Brandon. I see you. Dave's in the building. He's ready for some Taco Tuesday. Drop the sauce says CJ Curry time. Let's freaking go. I appreciate it. Yeah, we got a lot of basketball here on today's slate. Michael, shout out to you with the SGA. Who else we got in here? B-Don. Spurs are going to get blown out. Yeah, we got Victor Wembanyama versus Chet Holmgren tonight. Looking forward to that head-to-head matchup. What might be your two front runners for Rookie of the Year this season. It's going to be a fun battle to watch. Maybe one of the best Rookie of the Year races that we've seen in some time. I mean, last year wasn't really a contest. I mean, it was Paolo Banchero, and then there was like everyone else. This year, good talent with both Chet Holmgren and Victor Wembanyama. Scoot Henderson, no. Scoot ain't living up to the expectations thus far. He's hurt. He's not even going to be in the conversation. So, James, shout out to you. Thanks for being here, my friend. Ronald Green with the what's up. Who else we got in here? Everyday Fantasy. What it do? What it do? That's our guy, Don P. Litmo's here. Shout out to Litmo. Peyton in the building. We got Jake here. Handmade says, CJ, you the man. Got some kitchen dubs yesterday. Yeah, what he's referring to is our dub club. Our dub club community. We did pretty well yesterday. I've mentioned Dub Club in the past. It's 67 cents per day, gang. It comes out to $20 a month. But yeah, we went, 5 winning picks to 2 losing picks on NBA yesterday. So 5-2 overall on NBA picks. The day before that, we went 10-1 on our NFL picks. So we've been running pretty hot here the last couple of days, whether it be NFL or NBA. Plus, we've got people in the community that are dropping NHL picks, including yours truly. When it's a lighter NBA, NFL day, I'll get into the hockey picks too. I ain't afraid. I ain't scared. I'll play anything. We got people dropping tennis picks, soccer picks, esports picks. I mean, the community is thriving. We're all winning together, and that's what it's all about, baby. We're just trying to win together. Everybody's trying to get to the bag. So if you're looking for a toxic-free, a judgment-free zone for sports fans, sports betting fans, think about joining the Dub Club. Like I said, it's just 67 cents per day. I've left a link for you guys in the live chat so you can join up on the Dub Club. They get you started on a 3-day free trial, and then from there, $20 a month. It's no brainer. I think it pretty much pays for itself. But yeah, shout out to everybody else. T-Bone in the building. Robert, shout out to you. Patrick. We got Patrick in the building. If you're a Dub Club member, drop a DC in the chat, by the way. 141 of you watching. How many of the 141 members in the audience are a part of Dub Club? Drop a DC if you're a Dub Club member. I just want to see the support. I want to see who's showing up and showing out from Dub Club. I like seeing you guys in the audience. Look at that. Whoo, DC. Okay. We got some Dub Club members in the building. All right. So those of you who are not dropping a DC, either you don't have fingers or you haven't joined yet. And I'm probably guessing it's the latter, more likely the latter. So join the Dub Club. Like you see, there's a lot of people who are rocking with what we do in the community, who are a part of the show here. And, I'm just trying to give back to you folks and do our thing. All right, we got quite a few folks in here, though. Now that we've built up a nice size audience, let's go ahead and start talking about what's happening in the association today. It's November the 14th, my friends. There is a lot of basketball. So there's also a lot of basketball news that we have to definitely pay attention to, starting with the biggest one, Joel Embiid, Philadelphia 76ers center, questionable, dealing with a hip issue. You've also got Stephen Curry, another megastar on this injury report. He's questionable. LeBron James dealing with a calf issue, questionable. So you got 3 really big stars right off the bat. You definitely want to pay attention to that news. If Embiid happens to sit, or Curry or LeBron, obviously that's going to create a ripple effect for the rest of the players on the team. So I wouldn't be touching any 76ers props, Warriors props, or Lakers props just yet until we get more injury news from those 3 players. Trae Young is already ruled out. There's another big star for you who will not be playing tonight. Anthony Davis is probable, so if LeBron's out, then AD automatically becomes that #1 dog for the Lakers. So that's what you have to look forward to from LA. Keldon Johnson, knee, questionable. We talked about them facing off against the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight. Jeremy Sohan is also questionable. He is dealing with an adductor injury. So if the Spurs are without Keldon Johnson and Jeremy Sohan, I mean, they might get blown out. To B-Don's point, he said the Spurs are going to get blown out. Without those two guys, those are two of their better players. I mean, they might end up getting blown out by OKC. Maybe the SGA Taco then is a risk due to the blowout. John Collins of the Utah Jazz is going to play. He's probable. And then Herb Jones of the New Orleans Pelicans is questionable with a leg injury. So those are your big injury news pieces to kind of keep your eye out on. Obviously, Embiid, Curry, and LeBron James are the three big ones. Three big ones there. So let's take a look at what we've got cooking. PrizePicks obviously has already dropped their taco, the first one of the day. I guess you guys voted on that. I didn't get a chance to vote on it, but the votes came in, and the votes have SGA discounted from 31.5 points all the way down to 27.5 points. So we're going to start things off by looking at this taco. We want to see if this taco is a good one, a bad one, or somewhere in between. I don't know. I mean, 27.5 points, it's a 4-point discount. So, I mean, there is definitely value on the play. But as we know from previous tacos and discounts in the past, just because it's discounted, just because it's a taco, doesn't mean it's a laco. All right? Taco does not mean laco in this case. There's still a very real chance that this play may not hit for us. Let's take a look at Props.Cash real quick. Props.Cash making our player prop research very easy. They pretty much got like all these different tools, all these different stats, all these different advanced analytics and stuff built into the app here, making it super easy to do a deep dive on something like a SGA 27.5 point line. So here's Props.Cash. If you're not using it yet, by the way, code Curry will save you 25% on your first month. I've actually left a link for you down in the description of the video. Use that special link, save yourself some money on the first month. Try this tool out though. If you're wanting to, really roll up your sleeves and dig into the research and stuff, really, really nice tool for doing that. So we're looking at the 2023 season only. We only care about games from this season. Now, this is his normal line, 31.5. At 31.5 points, he's actually averaging 31.1 for the season. He's hit the over in 52% he's hit the over in 56%, averaging 29.4 points per game. So he's 5 for 9 this season, but that's at 31.5 points. So we're going to use this little feature right here. There's these like little arrows. I don't know if you could see them. My camera might be blocking it, but we're just going to dial them down to 27.5 by bumping them down using this little arrow here. All right. And when we do that, you can see that the bars have magically turned a whole lot more green than they were just a moment ago, meaning he is covering 27.5 points at a higher rate, at a better clip than he was 31.5 points. Okay. So now you've got a 7 out of 9 hit rate, which is 78%. Like I said, he's averaging 29.4 points per game. And you can see that he's really been on a nice little streak or spree here. Over the last 4 games, he has had 30 or more points in 4 straight games. 30 against Atlanta, 43 against what is typically a tough Cleveland Cavaliers team, 33 against a good Sacramento team, and 35 against a pretty good Phoenix team. They're not 100% healthy, but a good Phoenix team nonetheless. So the only games that he's really like failed or has not won over 27.5 points was against the Denver Nuggets. He only had 7 points in that game, 20 points against the New Orleans Pelicans. So SGA overall, I mean, has done a pretty good job going over 27.5 points. If you look at that Denver game, by the way, I want to point out, he only played 28.3 minutes in that game, which is a far cry from his season average of about 35.5 minutes per game. All right. So he did not get enough court time, did not see the floor for enough time to really even have a shot of going over 27.5 points in that one. So we can kind of forgive him for that one. But the New Orleans game, he did play over 38 minutes and still could not get the job done. Not his best shooting night, just 40% from the field. And then when you look at some of these other little charts and things that they have here on Props.Cash, he did attempt 20 shots, but as I mentioned, only shot 40% on those 20 field goal attempts. But he's getting up a lot of shots, guys, usually 20 or more shots, averaging 21.3 field goal attempts per game. So we know that SGA is going to have the ball in his hands. He is their primary scoring option. Is it a good play? Is it a bad play? I mean, we can't really say for certain, right? We're not clairvoyant. We don't have a crystal ball. We can't look into the future to know whether or not it's a good play or a bad play. All I can tell you is that you are getting a 4-point discount, and he's gone over 27.5 points at a pretty high clip, 7 out of 9 games. And like I said, that Denver game, kind of fluky, kind of iffy. All right. Now we can take this a step further with PropStat Cash. It's easy to dig even deeper. They got this little splits feature right here at the top of the page. We could look at how he scored in games played at home. And when we do that and we bump him down to 27.5 points, you can see that his home splits, games played in front of the Oklahoma City Thunder fans, he has gone over in 3 out of 5 games. That's a 60% hit rate. His average at home this season, 26.4. It just so happens that the 2 games that he has went under 27.5 points happen to be games played at home. Kind of interesting. But nonetheless, San Antonio's defense, not very good. They rank dead last in terms of points allowed, meaning they're giving up the most points allowed. There's no other teams really giving up more points than the San Antonio Spurs, over 124 points per game allowed. All right. So things are looking pretty decent here. So now that we know that, about SGA, I mean, it looks like a good play. There's good value on it. It's a 4-point discount, guys. I mean, if I told you that I was going to give you a 4-point discount on a superstar like SGA, I mean, typically we're going to eat that up, right? Typically we're gobbling that up, right? Pause. But I mean, typically we are, right? Let's log into the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer here. I guess I wasn't logged in. Un momento, guys. Little technical difficulties here. I'm usually a man who comes prepared, but in this case, I am not. But we're gonna get prepared real quick. Gotta love the security, by the way, that the Daily Grind tools have on it. Not just letting anybody log into the account. So shout out to them for making my my account secure with the 2-factor authentication. Anyway, let's get the optimizer pulled up and take a look at this SGA play on the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. I want to look at just NBA related picks. There we go. So at 27.5 points, guys, we got a 65.6% chance that SGA is going to go over 27.5 points. True odds on this, true odds, minus 246. I mean, it's hard to pass up anything. It's not every day that you're going to get a pick on PrizePicks with minus 246 odds to hit. Mathematically speaking, should you take it? Yeah, I think you should take it. I mean, a 65.6% chance to hit. It's not a 100% chance to hit. It's a 65.6% chance to hit. You know that there's no such thing as locks. You know that the tacos aren't a guaranteed free square, right? There's risk. There's still risk involved, but still, with the odds being what they are, minus 246, giving you almost a 66% chance of this hitting. That means if we played this out 1,000 times, it would hit in 666 times out of 1,000, right? Or if we played this out 100 times, it would hit in 66 out of 100 times. That's pretty good. 2/3 of the time it's going to hit for you, just about. So should you take it? I mean, I'm going to take it. I can't speak for you and what you do with your money, but am I going to take it? I'm probably going to take it over 27.5 points. And I know that there's risk, so I won't be surprised if it doesn't hit. Will I be disappointed? Yeah, I'll be disappointed if it doesn't hit, but surprised? No, I won't be surprised because, I know it's not a free square. It's a taco. It's a discount. All right, let's look at some projections, though. Maybe that'll help us, because we're digging pretty deep here. We want to know, should we be playing the over, the under? Should we fade this taco? Well, I'm just going to give you some projections from some different projection models. 32.8 points against San Antonio tonight. This is Fantasy Labs. Fantasy Labs has probably been around for close to a decade. They've got really sharp fantasy projections. They got really sharp player prop projections. So 32.8 projected points on a line of, 27.5? I mean, It's projecting well. I can tell you that much based on what we're seeing here on Fantasy Labs. Let's take a look at RotoWire, another really nice set of tools. Got to pay for them, but still nice set of tools. Now they've got a lot more conservative projection for SGA, 28 points. 28 on a line of 27.5, but you're starting to kind of see a range of outcomes. Now, 28, we can call that the floor. We can call that first projection we saw in Fantasy Labs of like 32 points, the ceiling, almost 33 points, we'll call it. So 28 being the floor, 33 kind of being the ceiling for SGA. Let's take a look at a site like LineStar. LineStar also has projections. Let's log in real quick. I guess I'm just not like logged into anything today. Normally I am. I don't know what's up with that. So let's log into to LineStar real quick, and we'll take a look at their projection on SGA's points. When we do that, they've got SGA all the way up at 33.4 points. 33.4 points. Again, the line, the discount is 27.5. So, I mean, guys, I know everybody wants to be promised something. Everybody wants to be guaranteed that something's going to hit. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get guaranteed anything by me. But here's a projection of 32 points on Number Fire. So every site that I've looked at has them at least 28 points. 3 out of 4 of these sites had them at 30 plus points tonight. So yeah, once again, am I going to take it? Yeah, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it over. Yeah, I guess I cleared my cache. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I guess I was signed out of everything. Weird. So there you go. Hopefully that answers some questions about the SGA Taco. I don't know what else you guys need to see. I mean, I can't convince you any other way. I'm just going to ride with the data here. Ride with the numbers and hope for the best. Now, the other decision we have to make is, do we want to make this a 2-pick power play, or do we just want to add 5 picks onto this taco and swing for the fences? Go for the big splash, right? 25x. That's up to you guys. I don't know how you want to play it. Let's just start looking at some picks. And if we come across 5 really nice looking picks, we can make a 6-pick. If we only see maybe a couple picks, maybe we just do a 2-pick power play. I mean, I don't know. You know, we got different ways that we could go here. Trying to build bankroll, probably stick to a 2-pick power play. But if you got a little bit of extra cushion in your bankroll, maybe you swing for the fences and go for 25x. All right? Maybe you do. Maybe you do. If you're trying to build the bankroll up, 2-pick power play. If you're trying to swing for the fences because you got a little bit of extra padding in your bankroll, then make it a 6-pick. I think that's a good approach. Anyway, all right, let's take a look at some of these. We got the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer pulled up. Guys, you've heard me talk about this tool. You've seen this tool work in real time. Those of you who have joined me before, if you're joining me for the first time, why this tool is so great is because it allows you to get in on the best picks for PrizePicks before PrizePicks bumps them up, bumps them down, or in some cases, they take the pick down from the board completely. They just completely remove it from the board. So why you should be using this? Well, because it's just going to get you in on the best picks before the best picks get bumped up and bumped down or removed. There's a link down in the description of today's video. I would be delighted if you would use that special link and get signed up for the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. Try it out for yourself, and let me know how it goes for you. But looking at the top picks right now, obviously the SGA Taco is at the top. It's at the top, 65.6% chance to hit. So there's no question in my mind that I'll be taking that. Let's refresh the optimizer here. You got Cam Johnson of the Brooklyn Nets at 1.5 turnovers, 54% chance that he turns the ball over at least twice. Now, me personally, I don't like playing turnover props. I don't really play a lot of blocks and steals either. I just think that whole prop category, both of those are just way too volatile for me. I don't get into them a whole lot. I mean, if I were going to play some turnover props or blocks and steals props or just blocks or just steals, I'd probably make like one entry with all of those volatile props in one entry so that they don't infect my other entries. That's how I would probably go about it. So I'm going to skip over Cam Johnson at 1.5 turnovers. Just way too unpredictable of a category for me. But here we got Aaron Gordon of the Denver Nuggets at 4.5 assists, gang. 54% chance that AG is going to go over 4.5 assists. So you can see where his lines are at on most of these sports books. 4.5 on all the books. Everybody pretty much agrees. 4.5 is the proper line. But then you're getting odds like -154 on a really sharp sports book like Pinnacle that's saying you should be taking the over on Aaron Gordon at 4.5 assists. So this does look like a very strong plus EV play. Aaron Gordon over 4.5 dimes. So now that we know that it's a plus EV play, let's go check some projections out. Let's just see if these projection models are rocking with, rocking against Aaron Gordon over 4.5 assists. Here's what I'll tell you. Projected for 4.2. I apologize. Let me take that back. That's Aaron Gordon under 4.5 assists. I think I said over. Aaron Gordon under 4.5 assists. Yes. Yes. You caught it. I caught it. We caught it. Aaron Gordon under 4.5 assists. Not over. Under. There we go. We got it. We got it straight now. 4.2 assists. So that puts him closer to 4 assists than 5 assists. So obviously the first projection would be one that agrees with the optimizer. So Aaron Gordon under 4.5. First projection says, yeah, we agree. Take the under on Aaron Gordon. Second projection on Aaron Gordon, 3.3 dimes. He's all the way down at 3.3 on RotoWire. So we're 2 for 2 now. Two projection models both say take the under on Aaron Gordon's assists at 4.5. So I like that we have the support of some of these different projection models. LineStar, same thing, in agreement. They've got him at 4.4 assists on a line of 4.5. So now we got 3 different projection models. All 3 of them have Aaron Gordon staying under 5 assists tonight. So let's see if we could go for the sweep. Let's see if we could go 4 for 4, and we can because Number Fire agrees as well. 3.7 assists on a line of 4.5 assists. So 4 different projection models, 4 different sites. They've all got Aaron Gordon going under. I mean, we could go further. We could look at more models. Here's another one. This one is Betting Pros. This is a free site, another free site for those of you who like free tools. Here's a free tool for you. And they've got Aaron Gordon down at 3.3 assists. So now we're 5 for 5. 5 different projection models all have Aaron Gordon going under 4.5 assists. So if you wanted to snatch this up, you would probably want to go like that. That would be the move. For you 2-pick power players out there, this might not be a bad 2-pick. SGA Taco over 27.5. Aaron Gordon assists under 4.5. What do you think, guys? Looking good? I mean, we can only do so much, right? We can only do so much. These guys still have to go out and play. I mean, I thought Domantas Sabonis over 12.5 rebounds looked pretty good against Cleveland last night. They were giving up the 3rd most rebounds in all of the NBA. It was projecting phenomenally across different player projection models, and yet Sabonis ends up with 8 rebounds. So there's only so much we can do. The power, it lies, in the players' hands. They got to go out and they got to perform. We have to come to the realization that we can't control everything, right? We've done pretty good job so far, though, looking at these. And so these look like 2 solid plays. Now, whether or not they'll hit, we don't know. We don't know. That's the gamble. That's the risk involved. Yeah, we did get Levine over 7.5 rebounds and assists. We did get that one right. So anyway, there's 2 plays to get you started. Now, you could 2-pick power play this. We could keep building. We could go for 3, 4, 5, 6 picks. However many picks you guys want to do. I mean, it's up to you. If you got some extra cash to spare and you want to take a shot at a 6-pick flex, do that. If you are getting low on funds in your PrizePicks account and you want to play it a little safer, go with some 2-pick power plays. Use all the tacos, pair them up with whatever you like the best, and hopefully you turn those 2 picks into a 3x payout. Jay's saying Aaron Gordon's been assisting lately. So let's go see if Jay's got a point here. But I would advise, I mean, everything is matchup based, right? Like just because a player has been assisting, well in the last several games. I mean, everything should be looked at on a, game-to-game individual basis. But to his point, I mean, you see what Aaron Gordon's done here. 4 out of his last 5 games. Now, does that mean he's going to continue to drop 5 or more dimes? I mean, no. I mean, what comes up must go down at some point, right? I don't know that he's going to maintain what he's been doing over the last 5 games. Possibly, but he's averaging a nice, healthy average here of 5 assists per game over the last 5. But that's what he's done. He's gone over, actually, 4.5 assists in 4 out of the last 5. So, yeah, not DeJounte Murray, Jamal Murray. With no Jamal Murray, maybe it's a little riskier to take the under on Aaron Gordon's assists. But if you like Aaron Gordon to go over assists, don't play it on PrizePicks. Go take it on a sports book where you can take the over at 4.5 at plus money. Go play it on Sleeper. Go play it on Hot Streak where you actually get rewarded for taking risks because you are going basically against the grain if you want to take Aaron Gordon over 4.5 assists. But don't play it on PrizePicks. Don't play Aaron Gordon over 4.5 assists on PrizePicks. They don't reward you any more money. You don't get a bonus payout or nothing like that for going against the grain. There's no reason for you to play it on PrizePicks. You could just fade it if you wanted to on PrizePicks. If you're one of those last 5 game log type of people, and that's how you make your decisions and stuff, well, then this is probably not the pick for you. Not the pick for you, because if you looked at the last 5, like we just did on PrizePicks, I mean, he's gone over in 4 out of the last 5. So some of y'all, you pop open those PrizePicks player cards and then you see like a lot of green and then you just inherently take the over or take the under, however the green bars are looking in there. You could do that. You could do it that way. I mean, some people, they approach things that way. They don't have time to research thoroughly. They don't have time to look at the way that the juice is going on the sports books. They don't have time to look at 5 different projection models that all have Aaron Gordon going under 4.5 assists. They don't have time for that. So they just look at the last 5 game logs and then they use that to make their decisions. I get it. All right. Here's some interesting recent events here. I'm guessing one of the San Antonio Spurs players just got ruled in. The only reason I'm guessing that is because these Victor Wembanyama projections are now all unders. So if anybody can confirm, did Keldon Johnson and or Jeremy Sochan get ruled in? Did both get ruled in for tonight's game? I'm just wondering, or Trey Jones was ruled out. So maybe they're thinking this game's going to turn into a blowout and maybe Wembanyama's not going to reach any of his lines. Keldon's out. Trey Jones is ruled out. Yeah, so this might turn into a blowout, gang. Now, going back to the SGA Taco. Your hopes are that if it does turn into a blowout, OKC blowing out the San Antonio Spurs, you're hoping that SGA has a large hand, plays a major role in that blowout. You're hoping that it's because he's playing so well that OKC is able to blow out San Antonio. That's what you're hoping for. Because if it does not go that way, if it's like more of a team style game where everybody's scoring, everybody's got around, 10 to 15 points, well, that's not going to be good news for SGA. I mean, SGA will probably have 20, no doubt. But like the other players might chip in 15. You might have like 5 or 6 guys in double-digit scoring. That's what you don't want to happen. What you're hoping for here in a blowout with San Antonio likely to be without Trey Jones, maybe Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sochan, you're hoping that SGA is the reason why it turns into a blowout, the main reason why. So, but yeah, all those Wembanyama lines, I mean, look at Wembanyama at 30.5 points and rebounds, 54.5% chance that he's going under 30.5 points and rebounds right now. So the market is reacting in real time to this news. I mean, you've even seen DraftKings as far as the SGA's original point prop line. 31.5 is what it was at, right? Now it's at 30.5 on DraftKings. FanDuel not even reporting a point line for SGA. That's scary. It's a scary taco. there's risk. There's definitely risk involved. I mean, we've now seen the percentage of this taco, the odds to hit, drop from 60, what was it? Almost 66%. It dropped slightly down to 65.4%. And now all the Spurs are off the board. I mean, that's PrizePicks reacting to the news. That's PrizePicks reacting in real time to the news. Somebody earlier said, take SGA at 31.5 points under. You know what? I'm starting to warm up to that idea. Whoever said that. I'm starting to warm up to that idea that maybe we take SGA under 31.5 points. We're already seeing line movement on a reputable sports book like DraftKings, where he's down a full point now to 30.5. So that's an indication that they're a little bearish. They're a little bearish on SGA's point line tonight. In other words, they don't like it so much at 31.5. They don't think he's going to score 31 to 32. They got him score maybe 30 to 31 tonight. So this may not be that bad of a move to take the under at 31.5 points. So I don't know. It's is it a home run taco? Not a home run taco by any means. Well, now the tacos disappeared. Did they pull the taco off the board, or did they pull like anything SGA related off the board? Let me look. Let me see what's going on here. No, he's still at 31.5 points. He's still at 31.5. So they still have his original lineup. They still have the taco lineup. But I'm starting to think maybe we play this two ways. The SGA taco. Maybe we take it over 27.5 points and we take it under 31.5 points. We kind of hedge our bets, and we might hit on both. He might end up with 28 or more points, but stay under 32 points. So that's not a bad strategy. Now that San Antonio is starting to rule more and more players out. Yeah, you've got Keldon Johnson out. Somebody said Trey Jones was ruled out. Jeremy Sochan is questionable. So, I mean, they're going to be very shorthanded, and OKC should handle these guys. So, yeah, the juice, like the juice is saying, it could easily fall in between that. It could be anywhere from his taco line. He could be like 28 to 31 points. 28 to 31 points. It could easily fall somewhere in that range. So, yeah, it's not my favorite taco. It's not my favorite taco, if I'm being transparent. It's not my favorite taco, which is why I might play it both ways. I might take it under 31.5 and over 27.5. So anyway, there you go. You kind of know what's happening here. Here's another SGA play. If you wanted to take the under on his 31.5, that looks like probably a fine option. Like I said, we're already seeing market movement down on SGA's points line to 30.5 points. So as long as PrizePicks keeps him at 31.5, I would take the under at 31.5 as well, or at least consider it. You could also go this route. SGA, where'd it go? It just disappeared on me. His rebounds and assists line was at 12, and it looked like that one was also trending down, probably because of the blowout. We talked about Aaron Gordon under 4.5 assists. What about some of these other ones? I'm skipping over the ones that have already been bumped up or bumped down, like this Paolo Banchero one. He's at 4.5 and 5.5 assists on different books. So PrizePicks has kind of split the difference and put him at 5. I'm not interested in playing props that could tie or push. What about Derrick Jones Jr. of the Dallas Mavericks? He's at 3.5 rebounds. 3.5 rebounds. They're saying take the under, 53.7% chance that Derrick Jones Jr. will not have 4 rebounds tonight. All right, so here's another plus EV play. I'm going to keep refreshing these projection tools too, by the way, because I want to make sure we have all the sharpest, latest, and greatest data pulled in here. These projection models are changing on the fly all the time. So if you're using projections, make sure you're keeping them refreshed because a lot of these good sites like Fantasy Labs will update their projections in real time. Derrick Jones. Optimizer says take the under. First projection has him going over, though, at 4.4 rebounds. We're going to also refresh RotoWire. RotoWire's got Derrick Jones at 5.29 rebounds. I'm not going to go any further. He's projecting really well today, which is flying in the face of what the optimizer is saying to do. you got to pick a side. Do you want to go with the projections that have Jones going over 3.5 rebounds, or do you want to go with what the bettors are doing, the juice, in other words, on these books, who have him going under 3.5 boards? So I'm just gonna leave that one. That one can stay put. To the streets it goes. We ain't playing that one. I'm not playing that one. Lauri Markkanen at 9.5 rebounds, a 53.7% chance that Lauri is going to go for less than 10 boards. So we've already got news that John Collins is playing tonight. He's probable. So obviously a good rebounder, solid rebounder in his own right. So maybe that's going to impact Lauri Markkanen's ability to hit the boards tonight. So we're looking for projections on his rebounds for under 10 or under 9.5. So 53.7% chance here. So let's run the projection models on Lauri Markkanen. First one's got him at 10.4, not what we wanted to see. He's going up against the Portland Trail Blazers. Blazers, their backcourt anyway, pretty thin right now. As far as the front court, it's DeAndre Ayton, Jeremy Grant. Those are going to be the guys that are battling against Lauri Markkanen, against Walker Kessler, against John Collins for rebounds tonight. So he's projected for 10.4. That's not what we wanted to see. We wanted projections like closer to 9 tonight. Second projection has him all the way up at 11.3 on this projection model. So again, like Derek Jones, I'm just going to leave this one alone. He's just projecting too good on the rebounds. I mean, if this gets bumped down, let's say to 9, or if Derek Jones gets bumped down to, what was it, 3 rebounds or something like that? Yeah. So if Derek Jones gets bumped down to 3, or if Lauri Markkanen gets bumped down to 9 rebounds, I'm interested in taking the over at that point. But I'll wait for those bumps if they do ever happen. I don't know if they're going to get bumped or not. But both of these guys, Derek Jones and Lauri Markkanen, projecting really well on the rebounds today. Let's wait to see if maybe they're going to get bumped down to 3, get bumped down to 9, and then we could take the over on it. Gordon removed. They took Aaron Gordon away. Did they really? Oh, why? Why would you do that? PrizePicks, why? Why would you do? Now, his other projections, his other models, or his other markets, I should say, they're still up on the board. They're still up. So they didn't pull all Aaron Gordon down. They only pulled the one that we were looking at down. So I guess enough of you took the under at 4.5 assists for them to, I don't know, to pull it down. I'm guessing that's what happened. Y'all were just slamming the unders on Aaron Gordon's assists. Well, that sucks. Hopefully some of you got it if you liked it under 4.5. I know some of the last 5 game log crew were feeling not so confident in it because he has gone over 4.5. All right. But all right, so keep your eye. We'll keep Lauri Markkanen on the radar. If he gets bumped down to 9, we'll take the over. Same thing with Derek Jones Jr. If he gets bumped down to 3, we'll take the over. But for now, we'll leave it right where it stands. We won't touch that one. James Harden, 4.5 rebounds. James Harden's at 4.5, 53.6% chance of him going over 4.5 boards. The James Harden Los Angeles Clippers relationship has not gotten off to the greatest start. I mean, it's not looking good so far. Clippers, Harden, they got to figure it out, right? Anytime you got 4 ball dominant players, Harden, Westbrook, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard on the same team, it's going to take some time to figure things out. But have they won a game yet since James Harden has joined the Clippers? I know that they were like 0-4 or something. Have they won yet? Y'all let me know. James Harden, though, at 4.5 rebounds. Let's go take a look at some projections, see if he's projecting to go over 4.5 boards. Yeah, they're still 0-4. Huh. There you go. I mean, it's the Harden effect, right? 4.6 projected rebounds on a line of 4.5. So that one's slightly higher than his line of 4.5. Good first projection, though. At least it wasn't below 4.5. Second projection's got him all the way up at 5.7. So you're starting to kind of build a range of outcomes here. 4.6 being on the low end, 5.7 being on the higher end, right? Here's another one for you. Line Stars got James Harden all the way up at 4.9, very close to 5. A lot closer to 5 at 4.9 than 4, right? So you got 3 projections that have Harden going over 4.5 rebounds. And let's take a look at Numberfire. Again, Numberfire is free, guys. All you have to have is a Gmail account. You can take a look at Numberfire projections for yourself, but they've got him all the way up at 5.8, indicating he could get as many as 6 rebounds tonight against the Denver Nuggets. So Harden, another play that's looking scrumptious. Can we use that word? Scrumptious. There you go. It's been hit or miss, though. I mean, Harden with these rebounds, he's hitting what, 2 out of 4 games, 50% hit rate. Small sample size, but 2 out of the 4 games since joining the Clippers, he has gone over 4.5 rebounds. But here's what I'll tell you: it's a plus EV play. In other words, we're going with the current over 4.5, with the juice over 4.5 rebounds, and he's projecting to go over 4.5 rebounds on 4 different projection sites that we've looked at. So kind of building out some different options here for you. You could take SGA over 27.5. I'm warming up to the idea of SGA under 31.5 points. Now, if this gets bumped down to 30.5 points, I'm not warm on taking the under at 30.5. The value is now at 31.5. If you're going to take the under, take it at under 31.5. Don't wait for it to get bumped down to 30.5, because it could happen. It could happen, especially with all the Spurs being ruled out. And then you got Harden here at 4.5 boards, plus EV play, projected well, as high as almost 6 rebounds on some of these projection models. So if you missed out on Aaron Gordon at 4.5 assists, here's a replacement for you. James Harden over 4.5 rebounds. Okay? The juice. Throwing some James Harden shade. What's the over-under on air balls for James Harden? Yeah, they got to close the door in that, what is it? They play in Crypto Arena or whatever. They got to close the door. And some of that wind might be coming in and carrying the ball for James Harden, causing a few more air balls than he normally might have. But hey, let's take a quick consensus here. We got 222 people watching, 79 likes. Now, you know I'm spitting facts. Now, you know I'm laying down some good information. I'm putting it down for you guys. I'm holding you down. I'm trying to put you on the best picks and plays possible. I need your support. If you're watching for the first time, subscribe. If you're watching for the second or more time, well, hit the like button. Let's get over 100 likes. And then make sure that you turn on those notifications so that YouTube doesn't try to withhold these videos from you, doesn't try to withhold information from you. We're trying to empower, enlighten, inform, and entertain through these live streams and through the video content that I put out for you guys, okay? You got to have those notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on anything. I don't want you missing out. All right, back to the grind here. We got Jeremy Grant. He's also popping up here on the optimizer. Now, I know it's red, 53.2% chance. Red's not really a color you want to see. But in this case, 53.2% is not terrible. Now it's up to 53.4%. So 8.5 rebounds and assists, Jeremy Grant tonight. Let's go take a look at that one. We've also got Josh Giddey for under 5.5 assists. Interesting. Maybe again, that blowout type situation is being taken into consideration by bettors on these sports books. Here's Victor Wembanyama under 9.5 rebounds. We talked about this game potentially turning into a blowout tonight. And so we saw some of these Victor Wembanyama props, these projections, they were starting to come in as unders. Here's another one, 9.5 rebounds, under. You might want to jump on some of this value before it starts to dry up, because it does dry up pretty quick. Thank you for the new subs. Hey, Leland Davis, thank you. Zamil, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Appreciate that. Here's another one that just popped up. It's starting to kind of rise to the top of the optimizer board here. It's Shaedon Sharpe, but it's under 22.5 points. SK says Sharpe's eaten. Now he's talking about those rebounds, but Shaedon Sharpe under 22.5 points. That could be another move for you. So some options. We got a lot of different options here. Let's look at the Shaden Sharp one. Under 22.5, 53.5% chance that he stays under his points line tonight. This could be one that ends up getting bumped. We'll see, though. Right now, he is at 23 projected points, which is a bit higher than we were hoping for. Again, the optimizer saying take the under. And that's mostly because you're going to find Shaden Sharp's points line being offered at 2 different numbers here on Sportsbooks. So PrizePicks has him at the higher number, 22.5, but you're also going to see him at 21.5 on some of these books, indicating that maybe 21 to 22 points is where Shaden Sharp lands tonight. Did they just bump this? Let me look, because it disappeared from the optimizer. Did they put Sharp down to 21.5 now? No, he's still at 22.5. So the optimizer is saying take the under at 22.5. But the first projection has him at 23. Second projection has him at 19.6, however. A far cry from 22.5, right? So you got 1 over 1 under projection on Sharp. Let's see if we could break the tie here. Third projection for Shaden Sharp has him all the way down at 19.2 points. 19.2 on a line of 22.5. So I could definitely see this one getting bumped down to 22, possibly even bumped down to 21.5 before long. By the time this game tips off at 9 p.m. tonight, Eastern time, you might see this one down at 22 or even 21.5. Like I said, most sports books have it at 21.5 as it stands right now at 1 p.m. Eastern. So you could absolutely see this one get bumped down. Oh, you were talking about Dayron Sharp. All right, we got to make sure we're talking about the same people. But anyway, Shaden Sharp's points kind of projecting all over the place, but I wouldn't be surprised if this one ends up getting bumped down. So that's another one to kind of have on your radar. To monitor. What else? Let's look at a couple more, and then I'll start taking some of these super chats. Appreciate the super chats, by the way. If you have like a hard-hitting, pressing question, and you want to help support the content here on YouTube, think about leaving a super chat. I can't get to everybody's questions, so super chat's kind of like Fast Pass at Disney, where Fast Pass gets you to the front of the line. Super chat gets your question prioritized, all right? And that's just the way it has to be, man. There's like 200 plus people watching. There's only one of me. I can't possibly answer everybody's question, but I definitely do make it a point to get to the super chats when I can. So we'll get to some of those in just a minute. Jeremy Grant over 8.5. I don't think we ever really looked at that one. Let me pull some Jeremy Grant numbers. Jeremy Grant's projected for 7.6. Again, the line's 8.5, so 7.6 ain't going to cut it. We need to see something higher than that. Here's a projection over 8.5, 9.3 on RotoWire. So they do like Jeremy Grant over 8.5 rebounds and assists. Here's another projection for you. This one on LineStar. LineStar's got him at 8.8 rebounds and assists. So slight overs, not like ginormous when it comes to his projections. This last one, Number Fire, is going to have him at 5.1 rebounds, 2.9 assists, putting him at about 8 rebounds and assists. Not quite enough to get there, right? His line's 8.5. So I'm going to leave that one alone. I don't think that one's looking like my favorite or anything. That one can stay. I won't be taking that. For those of y'all who are just getting here, here's what we have so far. We're thinking SGA over 27.5. It's just too good a value. But we're concerned that there might be a blowout with all these Spurs players getting ruled out. Keldon Johnson, Trey Jones, possibly Jeremy Sokan. If all 3 of those guys are out, well then, there's not going to be much of a game. It's going to be a OKC, molly-whopping. All right, they're gonna steamroll the Spurs. OKC's going to steamroll the Spurs if all those guys are out. So we're also thinking about taking SGA under 31.5 points. And then we got Harden going over 4.5 boards. That's kind of where we stand so far. Just getting you guys caught up, those of you who joined late. We're waiting on Lauri Markkanen. If Lauri Markkanen gets bumped down to 9 rebounds, we're kind of okay taking the over at 9 boards. Same thing with Derrick Jones Jr. If he gets bumped down to 3 rebounds, he's projecting really well today, so I would like him at 3. I don't like him so much at 3.5 as far as an overplay goes. So we're hoping that Markkanen and Jones rebounds get bumped down by like a half a board, and then we can jump on the over. But we're waiting. We're waiting on that. Skylar Mays has been playing some pretty good hoops for the Portland Trail Blazers in the absence of Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, and company. He's at 15.5 points. Now, the juice on the sports books for this line at 15.5 under, you're seeing minus 149 odds, minus 128, minus 135. Daily grind is nice. Their optimizer tells us that the true odds here are minus 135 of him staying under 16 points tonight. So let's run the numbers on Skylar Mays and see if we should be taking the over or under. Now, he's been dropping a lot of dimes lately. As far as assists go, he's been getting some dimes. 15.2 points, though, is what we're looking at here. So he is projected for less than 15.5, closer to 15 than 16 in the points category. Second projection, 13.87. So even if we wanted to round this up to 14 is going to keep him down below 16 points tonight. So two projections, both under on Skylar Mays. Take a look at a third projection, 12.4 points, the lowest projection we've seen thus far for Skylar Mays, 12.4. That's kind of the floor as far as these projections go. And then a third and final projection has him all the way up at 17.4. So anywhere from 12.4 to 17.4 is kind of what we're seeing for Skylar Mays in these points tonight. Again, his line's 15.5. Being that most of the projection models had him going under 15.5, I would also agree with the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. I would also rock with the Opti in this case, and I would think about taking the under at 15.5 before I would think about taking the over. Now, I see some of you guys in the chat, you guys are really liking his assists. Zamil says 100% assists is the play. Yes, he's definitely been the facilitator for Portland. Dave Gutierrez also liking Skylar Mays for his assists. Let's just look at it real quick on the optimizer. Skylar Mays assists. His assists at 8.5. The move on the assists at 8.5 would be to take the over. 51.87% chance. Not the highest percentage, but 51.87% chance that he goes over 8.5 dimes. So you could potentially pivot off of the points under to maybe the assists over. You got him at 8.3. Second projection has him at 7.6. Third projection has him at 7. So a lot of these models are not actually rocking with Skylar Mays tonight. 8.2 assists over here on Number Fire. So I'm not really seeing that 9 or more number that we're hoping for out of Skylar Mays and his assists. Maybe the projection models are wrong, though. I mean, they've been wrong before. They're simply projecting or forecasting what could happen tonight, right? It's not set in stone or guaranteed that these projection models are going to be 100% accurate. If that was the case, we'd be robbing PrizePicks and all these sports books blind. We'd be robbing them blind. We'd be rich. I wouldn't be here. I'd be on my private yacht. Maybe Cabo. Cabo sounds nice. But anyway, those are some projections for you. All right. I said we would get to some of these super chats, so let's get to them. Appreciate all the love and support. We're at 99 likes, 224 watchers. Whew, there's a huge opportunity there for us to get the likes up. With 221 people watching and only 99 likes, there's a big gap there. Viewers and likes. Big opportunity for us to close that gap, though. Putting it on you guys. Everybody's like line is set at 0.5 likes. Everybody's line for likes is set at 0.5. And me, being the better that I am, I always take the over on your like line of 0.5 likes. I believe that you can hit the over every day. I believe when we go check Prop.Cash on your like line at 0.5, we're going to see nothing but green bars. When we open up the last 5 for your likes, I want to see green bar after green bar. 5 in a row. That's what I want to see. I want to see you guys averaging 1 like over your last 5 shows. That's what I want to see. I think you can do it. I believe in you guys is what I'm trying to say. I believe in you. Dave, you're liking Aaron Gordon, AG, over. his first half fantasy points. First half fantasy points. We haven't looked at any first half just yet, but hey, there's a first time for everything. So let's take a look at Aaron Gordon here of the Denver Nuggets. His first half fantasy score is what Mr. Dave Gutierrez is liking. I did see some people in our Discord, the Eyes on the Prize Discord, which is part of your Dub Club membership for you Dub Club members out there. I did see some folks that were liking Aaron Gordon to go over his first half fantasy score line. I saw some Aaron Gordon love. I also saw some Jalen Suggs. I saw some love for Jalen Suggs over first half PRA too. So those are a couple of popular plays that are floating around already. But here's Aaron Gordon. Last five, I mean, you know, you're going to crack this thing open and see he's averaging 20 or more fantasy points in the first half over his last 5 games. So, yeah, I mean, I can see why somebody might get excited when you open this up and see nothing but green. Well, God, it's got to continue, right? It's got to continue. He's done it in the last 5+ games. It's got to keep going, right? That's what we think. But is that a trap? Is that what PrizePicks wants us to think? Take it. It's green. It's going to stay green forever, right? Or is this just one of those things where we just lock it in? It's been green day after day. We just keep playing it until eventually the bottom falls out and, you know, he falls short. I mean, maybe we take that approach. Let's take a look at something real quick here. What this is a DVP chart. This is a free DVP chart. In fact, you can find this on fantasypros.com. This is a FanDuel DVP chart, defense versus position. Now, why I'm looking at this is because I want to go over to the power forward spot, and I want to take a look at how many fantasy points per game that the Los Angeles Clippers are giving up this season. Now, so far, I don't see the Clippers on here. Let me scroll. Let me get my scroll on. All right, we're scrolling. We're scrolling all the way down to the bottom, okay? Because the Clippers are giving up the 6th fewest fantasy points per game to power forwards this season. So despite the fact that it's been green after green after green for at least the last 5 games, tonight's matchup is not one for the faint of heart. I mean, the Clippers giving up the 6th fewest fantasy points per game to the power forward position. 6th fewest. Now, there's really no way for us to get an accurate projection for our first half fantasy score play. Here's what we could do, though. Let's bust out the calculator. Let's take this 44.57 fantasy score per game that they're allowing to the power forward position. Let's cut it in half, right? Because we're looking at first half only. And when we do that, we get about 22.2 fantasy points per game given up per half. Now, this is a rough number. This is not accurate science or anything, but it's about as good as we can do here. So let's just pretend that the Clippers are giving up about 22.2 fantasy score per game to power forwards this season. And then we got to hope for 17.6 or more out of Aaron Gordon, right? His line's 17.5. Now, Aaron Gordon's not the only power forward on the Denver Nuggets. I mean, you could even consider Aaron Gordon to be a small forward, and maybe Michael Porter Jr. is the power forward. But for us to assume that Aaron Gordon will get all 22.2 of those fantasy points that the Clippers allow, roughly speaking, per half, I don't think we should assume that Aaron Gordon's going to get all 22.2. So this could be a sweat. It could be sweatier than what it seems. I know it looks free. I mean, and maybe he does hit. I'm not saying he doesn't. There's a chance. Maybe he does. It could be a little bit sweatier than what we think. Now, one other thing that we could do, again, not a perfect science, not a perfect formula by any means of predicting the outcome for Aaron Gordon. We could take his full game fantasy score projection, which in this case is going to be 35.81, and we could just cut it in half. And if we cut it in half, he's going to come out to about 17.9 fantasy score. 17.5's the line, a rough projection, 17.9 fantasy score. And We talked about the Clippers being a difficult matchup, right? 6th fewest fantasy points per game to power forwards. All right, let's do it again. Let's look at another Aaron Gordon projection. This time, we're going to look at RotoWire's projection for him. Now, RotoWire's got him at 34.5 fantasy score. So 34.5 divided by 2. 17.2. Again, this is not a perfect science. This is about as good as we can get in terms of getting a first half fantasy score projection for AG. But this would put him under 17.5. So just kind of illustrating maybe some ways that you could think about coming up with, you know, a projection for how Aaron Gordon might perform tonight on his fantasy score line. Let's look at Line Star's projection for Aaron Gordon as well. Aaron Gordon's at 33.52, so an even lower projection. We sliced that in half, and he's at 16.7, roughly 16.7 fantasy score per half. So just wanted to kind of throw some numbers at you, throw it out there. Yes, he's hit in 5 straight games, but is this a good matchup for him? Not really, not on paper anyway. And then when we take those full game fantasy score projections and we slice them right down the middle, well, you've seen the results, anywhere from 16.7 to like 17.6. So get your sweatpants on. All right, Dave, get your sweatpants on. But I can definitely see why somebody might be excited for that over to hit. We'll leave them in there, though. All right, we'll leave them in there. Everyday Fantasy's coming through with a couple of different options for us. 3-pick power play with the taco. It's a 4-pick power play with the taco. Is that what we're going for here? Duncan Robinson, free throw makes. Let's go look at D-Rob. Do you guys like playing free throw makes? How do you feel about free throw makes? Everyday Fantasy's feeling good about it. He's liking Duncan Robinson to make at least 1 free throw tonight. We got to get him to the foul line at least once. My problem with Duncan Robinson is that he spends a lot of time on the perimeter. Not really a guy who's going to take it to the bucket a whole lot, right? Mostly an outside shooter, mostly known to be a marksman, a sniper. Now, he could get fouled in the act of shooting. That's very well a possibility. He could be the designated free throw shooter for the Miami Heat in the event that there's a technical foul situation, right? That could be a situation that Duncan Robinson is put on the free throw line as the designated technical foul free throw shooter. So that's another way that maybe he gets to the line. Now, when he gets to the line, I have confidence he's going to make his free throw. But will he get to the line? Got to get there, right? Can't make any free throws unless he actually gets there. But we'll look at some projections on that one. Let's also take a look at Powell. Powell at 1.5 free throw makes. Powell. Is that Dwight Powell? Oh, Norman Powell. Okay. Norman Powell of the Los Angeles Clippers to go over 1.5 free throw makes. Again, Norman Powell's playing with Harden and Westbrook and Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. So there's only one basketball. The opportunities for Norman Powell may be few and far between for him to get to the free throw line. He may not have the ball in his hands a whole lot. Now, speaking of other Los Angeles Clippers playing alongside Norman Powell, your last pick, you're liking Russell Westbrook over 1.5 free throw makes. We got to make room here. Who are we going to kick out? Let's kick out Gordon for now, being that it is a first half only play, and we will add Russell Westbrook in for, you said, more on his 1.5 free throw makes. All right. So it becomes a situation where it's like, you know, how much usage are these individual players, Powell, Westbrook, going to have playing alongside some usage monsters in Leonard and George and Harden, right? That's my only issue, my only dilemma. But he's liking D-Rob, Duncan Robinson, for a free throw make. Hopefully he's not just camping the three-point line. Hopefully he's, you know, getting fouled by these Hornets. And then Powell and Westbrook over their free throw make lines. So we do have projections. RotoWire, I say we. RotoWire has projections for free throws made. They've got Duncan Robinson sitting at a healthy little 1.33. 1.33. Now, what I would do with free throw makes, I would probably just make one entry with like nothing but free throw makes, or make an entry that has like free throw makes, blocks and steals, and like turnovers. All those little funky, weird, and wild little player prop categories like free throw makes, blocks and steals, and and turnovers. I'd like put those all in the same entry. Like, all of y'all are toxic. Y'all stay over there. Y'all hang out with each other. I don't want any of y'all invading and infecting my other entries. That's just how I feel about it. Keep them over there. If you're going to play them, keep them over there. Put them all together. Put all those crazy, weird little projections in the same entry. I'm just saying, that's just maybe my approach with it. But Duncan Robinson is looking good. He's checking out. Westbrook, 1.9 free throw makes. Also checking out. So he is projected over. Norman Powell, 2.6 free throw makes on a line of 1.5. Again, checking out. So out of Powell and Westbrook, Powell is projecting better. If you were trying to decide between one of the Clippers because you don't believe both Clippers are a good correlated option, maybe you don't want to take both of the Clippers over free throw makes in the same entry. If you're looking to choose one or the other, it looks like Powell is projecting better against the Nuggets to get to the free throw line tonight. Let me see. Does Line Star have free throw makes for their projections? Let me look. Free throws made. They do. So Line Star's got Russell Westbrook at 1.2. So they got him going under 1.5. They've also got Norman Powell at 1.2. So they got him going under. And then we talked about Duncan Robinson as well. Duncan Robinson's going to be at 0.6 free throw makes on a line of 0.5. So Robinson's the only one that's projecting over, and that's Line Star. One more site. Now, if you're using NumberFire has free throw make projections. You just got to look a little bit harder for them. They're hidden. So for all my NumberFire users out there, let me show you how to get to them. So you got all your players in this far left column, right? They're all clickable. So when you click on one of their names, you get this page. This like player page comes up. From there, you scroll down just a little bit to this game log section. Once you're under this game log section, you will see a section called upcoming projections. Now, underneath this upcoming projections category, you will see FTM-A, which stands for free throws made and attempted. Okay? So they got Duncan Robinson making 1.3 free throw makes on 1.5 attempts. So he is projecting to go over his 0.5 free throw make line. So that's how you get to the hidden free throw make projections inside of NumberFire. All right, and we'll do that same situation here. I'll show you guys again with Russell Westbrook. So you just find the player you're looking for, click their name. This page will come up. You scroll down, go to game log, look under upcoming projections, and then you got Westbrook projected for 2.1 free throw makes out of 3.1 free throw attempts. So they have him going over 1.5 at 2.1. And we'll do the same thing for Norman Powell. Clippers playing the Nuggets tonight, guys. Clippers and Nuggets. And then Norman Powell is projected for 2.1 free throw makes as well. So he's also projected to go over. So if I were to rank them based on the projections and nothing but the projections, we've looked at 3 different projection models on these free throw make props. If I were to rank them based on the projections, I would have to say Duncan Robinson's number 1. He would be number 1. Then I would probably say Norman Powell number 2. And then I would put Russell Westbrook number 3. Agree or disagree? I mean, we looked at all the projections together, but that's how I would rank them. Agree or disagree? Robinson, Powell, and then Westbrook on these free throw make props. That's how I would just rank those. And if I were choosing between Powell and Westbrook based on the projections and only the projections that we've saw together, I would probably say Powell over Westbrook. But That's just me looking at the projections. All right. But that's how you get to them. They have free throw projections in Number Fire. You just got to dig a little bit deeper. They don't show it on the surface. Click a player's name, go in there, and you can find these projections. Hopefully that's helpful information. If it is helpful information, drop a like. Am I helping you out? Am I showing you some things that maybe you didn't see before that you never knew about? Let me know. You know, if you're getting value out of this, let me know by smacking that like button. Cool. Let's also take a look at some of these other super chats. We got some other super chats. Thanks again, by the way, Everyday Fantasy, for that super chat. You the man, you the man. Appreciate that. Goes a long way, man. It doesn't seem like much, but it goes a long way in helping us support free content here on YouTube. Contavious, shout out to Contavious. Appreciate the super chat. He's asking about Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. for both of them for over rebounds and over fantasy score. Okay. Here's what I would probably do. I would probably play those. Let's say you're liking Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. for both over rebounds and over fantasy score. I'd probably separate them, not play them in the same entry, but play them in separate entries. Because if you're betting on Aaron Gordon to have a really strong rebound game or a really strong fantasy score game, well, then that might cannibalize what Michael Porter Jr.'s upside is, and vice versa. So if you're betting on Gordon to have a big rebound game and a big fantasy score game, that might be because Michael Porter Jr. doesn't have the strongest rebound or fantasy score game. And you could flip that around too. If you think Michael Porter Jr. is going to do really well on the boards or he's going to do really well in fantasy score, that might become a detriment to Aaron Gordon's upside. So I would probably split them. In a way, it's kind of like hedging your bets on these individual players and how they might perform tonight. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. But I also see Zamil asking about MPJ and Gordon on fantasy. So there's a lot of interest from what it seems. A lot of interest in both Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. for a couple different categories. There's a lot of Aaron Gordon love going around tonight. Hopefully, Contavious, you caught wind of what I said earlier about Aaron Gordon's matchup tonight against the Clippers, not looking like the most friendly for power forwards. Again, the Clippers, 6th fewest fantasy points allowed to power forwards this season, 44.5. Now, some of y'all are going to look at 44.5 and say, well, if they're giving up 44.5 fantasy points per game to power forwards and Aaron Gordon's line is just 33, well, then he should definitely go over 33 fantasy points. That ain't how it works. That ain't how it works. Just because they're giving up 44 fantasy points per game to power forwards doesn't mean that Aaron Gordon is the only power forward on the Denver Nuggets, and he's going to get all 44.57 of those fantasy points. No. As you know, there are other power forwards that play for Denver, and so Aaron Gordon should not be expected to get all the fantasy points to himself. Now, if that was the case, if we knew Aaron Gordon was going to play every minute at the power forward position, not come off the floor once for Denver tonight, then I would say that the 33 fantasy score is just a little bit too low, being that LA's given up over 44 per game. But we know he's going to come out. We know he's not going to play every single second, every single minute of the game. So we have to take that into consideration, okay? Matchup is a tough one. Clippers, tough team. Defensively. We looked at some of the fantasy scores earlier for Aaron Gordon, 35.8. That's his full game fantasy score, and that is provided by Fantasy Labs. So he's at 35.8. Line is 33, so that puts him over by about 2.8 roughly. Nice little margin, nice little differential. Second projection, 34.5. This is RotoWire. And by the way, I want to take this moment to remind you that if you are using fantasy score projections, make sure that you're using FanDuel projections for NBA, because FanDuel and PrizePicks for fantasy scoring for NBA is exactly the same. It's 1-to-1, apples to apples, okay? Make sure you're not using DraftKings projections because that will not be an apples to apples. That'll be apples to oranges. Aaron Gordon's line on LineStar is 33.5 fantasy score using FanDuel projections. And then finally, we're going to also look at NumberFire. NumberFire's got AG at 34. So, 33.5 is kind of the low. The most we've seen him projected for is 35.8. So you kind of get, the idea that that 33 number is pretty sharp. The 33 is kind of sharp. Not going to lie. Then you factor in the matchup. It might be a sweat, brother. It might be a sweat. You also asked about MPJ, Michael Porter Jr. Now, I would call him the small forward out of the two forwards. Him and Aaron Gordon. I would call Aaron Gordon the power forward. I'd call Michael Porter Jr. the small forward. The good news is that the LA Clippers are giving up a lot more fantasy points per game to small forwards than they are power forwards. At least in ranking, the matchup for small forwards is an easier one on paper. So you see the Clippers, they rank third. They're giving up the third most fantasy points per game to the small forward position, the sixth fewest to the power forward position. So kind of like polar opposites going here. If you're a small forward and you're facing the Clippers, easier matchup than a power forward facing the Clippers. All right. So maybe MPJ gets a slight edge or a slight nod in that case. If you're trying to decide between Aaron Gordon over, or you're trying to decide between Michael Porter Jr. over, and they're very close, by the way. MPJ's at 32, Aaron Gordon's at 33. Maybe you just give the slight edge or nod to Michael Porter Jr. to go over his 32 fantasy score because of the easier matchup that we have here on paper after looking at that DVP situation, right? All right, so let's look at the projections. Aaron Gordon, 35.8. Michael Porter Jr., 37.2. Fantasy Labs has Michael Porter Jr. projected higher than Aaron Gordon for fantasy score tonight, 37.2. And his line is 1 point lower on PrizePicks than Aaron Gordon's is. So you're actually seeing about a 5.2 fantasy score difference, 32, 37.2. 5.2 fantasy score difference, Michael Porter Jr. On Fantasy Labs versus PrizePicks. Let's continue here. 34.5 on RotoWire for Aaron Gordon. Michael Porter Jr. is at 31, so they actually have him going under 32. So RotoWire not so high on Michael Porter Jr. tonight. Well, we got LineStar to look at as well. LineStar had 33.5 for Aaron Gordon, 33.6 for Michael Porter Jr. So I would say that favors MPJ. He's at 32. His line's at 33.6. Better than Gordon based on that projection. And then again, NumberFire's got Aaron Gordon at 34. Michael Porter Jr. sitting at 33.8, almost 34. But again, he's got the lower line by 1 fantasy point. So as far as the, if I were to decide between these two, I'd probably kick Aaron Gordon out. We know that Michael Porter Jr. on paper's got the better, easier matchup. We're also seeing bigger gaps or differentials between his PrizePicks line and most of the projection models that we looked at as well. So I'm just riding with these projections, riding with the data, riding with the matchups here, and I would choose Michael Porter Jr. In this case over Aaron Gordon. Here's a few of the other options. SGA Taco, we're thinking taking the over. We know it's a sweat. We know it's not a guarantee. We know it's not a free square, which is also why we're considering taking the under at 31.5 points, because San Antonio is going to be without at least 2, maybe even 3 of their key core players. And so we're thinking OKC is going to be blowing San Antonio away tonight. So maybe you hedge. Maybe take the over on SGA at 27.5, the under on SGA at 31.5. Harden over 4.5 rebounds. He's hit it in 2 out of 4 games. Not a big sample size, Harden with the Clippers, but he is projecting to go over on at least 4 different models, and it is a plus EV play. Duncan Robinson needs 1 free throw make. We also looked at Norman Powell over 1.5 free throw makes. That one looked pretty good. Russell Westbrook over 1.5 free throw makes. Maybe not as good as Powell, but maybe you take it once in like one entry, but I wouldn't go crazy on any of the free throw make props. I wouldn't take them more than once in multiple entries, in other words. And then we got MPJ, our latest and greatest pick, over 32 fantasy score. Now, you also asked about the rebounds on both of these boys, both Aaron Gordon and MPJ. So let's just take a look at those real quick. Starting with Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon's projected for 7.2 rebounds. His line's going to be at 7.5 in most places. On PrizePicks, see if they've got him bumped down to 7. Nope. They're holding pretty firm at 7.5. Optimizer says, I'm going to guess, take the under at 7.5. Well, they don't have his rebound line up right now. Let's refresh. No rebound line up on the optimizer right now for Aaron Gordon. But his rebounds and assists, that combo, 52.5% chance of him going under. So I'm guessing that the rebounds on their own is probably going to be an under. He's projected for just 7.2 boards, is Aaron Gordon. 7.7 boards, so hovering right around that 7.5 number. Take a look at this one. This is LineStar. LineStar's got Aaron Gordon sitting at 9 boards. They have him going over 7.5. And then he's at 7.7 on number fire. So there's just too much conflicting information for me to like want to take anything on this Aaron Gordon rebound prop. I think I'm just going to kick him out and he could stay right there. But yeah, a lot of people are high on Aaron Gordon tonight. What about Michael Porter Jr.'s rebounds? We know that the fantasy score checks out. That one looks pretty sweet. But if you don't like the fantasy score for MPJ, maybe you like the rebounds better. Again, not seeing a rebound number here for whatever reason. Something's being funky here. There we go. His rebounds at 7.5, 50.5% chance that he's going to go under 7.5 boards. Is it the most plus EV play? Heck no. I mean, it's kind of a coin flip, in fact, at 50.5%. But maybe, just maybe, based on these projections, it'll kind of sway you one way or the other. The first projection on Michael Porter Jr.'s board's 8.8. So that puts him way over 7.5, right? Second projection, though, puts him at 6.59, putting him under. So you got one big over, one pretty big under. Here's another over for you, 8.1 rebounds on LineStar for Michael Porter Jr. And then his line on number fire is just 7.2. So I think I'll stick with the fantasy score on Michael Porter Jr. The rebounds, looking a little iffy. At least with fantasy score, you don't have to be pinpoint accurate on like a point line, a rebound line, a blocks and steals or an assist line. Like there's some wiggle room there. There's room for you to like maybe not be accurate on the points, but maybe he eats in the rebounds and the assists and gets some blocks and steals or something. You know what I mean? But here's some options for you. Definitely a lot of different options. So hopefully that answers your super chat. Let's see, what time is it? 1:45. Man, we've been at this for about an hour and a half already. Hour and a half, 128 likes, 191 of you still rocking with me. Appreciate that. Like I said, still an opportunity there to get the likes up. Let's try to get those likes up so that YouTube will bless us and send this video out, push this video out to more people. That's what we want. Yes, the projections take into consideration players that are in, players that are out. It takes into consideration the pace that both teams play for, the officials that will be officiating the game. It takes into consideration the point spread. I mean, it does all that. The models take all of that stuff into consideration. So yes, of course it would factor in Murray being out. Yes, the projections are sharp, man. They're really, really sharp. I recommend you implement some projections into your research and your process. Taco Tuesday, baby. Wemby props are back up. Yeah, they're probably back up, and they're probably bumped down lower than what they were earlier. I would imagine they've been adjusted accordingly. Let's see. Let's go back to the optimizer. Anything else standing out here? Got a couple of people asking questions. Focus slow is liking Karl Anthony Towns over 8.5 boards. Let's just pull that one up on the Opti real quick. His 8.5 rebounds. You got about a 51% chance, if we're being generous, of him going over 8.5 boards. All right. So it's not the biggest EV play for Karl Anthony Towns. The better play would probably be the points and rebounds, which is nice because he could end up with 8 boards, right? But, you know, still get you 22 points and put you at 30 PR. So if he has like a 22 and 8 kind of night, well, you're not screwed in the rebound department for that reason. So you could go that way. Focus slow. If you're liking Karl Anthony Towns over 8.5 rebounds, I would say pivot over to his points and rebounds and take that. That looks like the better look. The better look. What else we got here? Take a couple more questions, guys, and we'll wrap this thing up. Couple more questions, and then we'll put a bow on this thing. And then, of course, if you're a Dub Club member, link in the live chat if you're not a Dub Club member. But if you're a Dub Club member, you know, you go here, you sign up. You've probably connected your Discord account to your Dub Club account, and then you get access to all the channels. You know, I'll be posting more picks for you Dub Clubbers out there. And those picks are posted to Curry's Kitchen. I see some confusion out there from some of you guys. Where do the picks get posted? Where do I go to see the picks? I need the picks. You go to Curry's Kitchen inside of our Eyes on the Prize Discord community. And this is where the picks lie. Posted 7 picks last night. We hit on 5 out of 7. So we had 5 winning picks, just 2 losing picks. We hit on Gafford fantasy score, Pirtle under PR, Kobe White under PA, DeRozan under points, and Strus over PR. Those were the 5 picks out of the 7 that ended up working out for us. So that's what you got to do. You got to join Dub Club. You get a 3-day free trial, by the way. 3-day free trial. You got to connect your Discord to your Dub Club account. And then once you get everything connected, you'll see all the picks. I notify Dub Club members right here in the Curry's Kitchen section of the Eyes on the Prize Discord. Okay? That's where you go to see the picks. But I'll post some more picks, obviously, closer to tip-off once some of these pieces of injury news and such, you know, we get more clarification on who's in, who's out. A lot of pending injury news. Dude says Wemby's props did not change. All right. Well, hey, if you think it's going to be a competitive game with the Spurs being down 2 to 3 of their key players and you want to take some Wemby overs, have at it, my friend. Have at it. But for me, I mean, it was looking kind of rough on the Wembanyama front. There was more unders, I thought, than overs. Now, what they could have done is bumped Victor Wembanyama's lines down, and that might have been the case because now you're starting to see more overs for Victor Wembanyama here, like his points and rebounds over, points and assists over, rebounds and assists over. So maybe they corrected too much. Maybe they did an overcorrection with Keldon Johnson reportedly being out, Trey Jones reportedly being out, Jeremy Sochan reportedly being questionable. More than likely, he'll probably be out as well. There could be an overcorrection here. Maybe they've reduced Victor Wembanyama's lines down too far. And maybe there's an opportunity now for him to go over some of these. So, all right. Anyways, my friends, appreciate it. 134 likes from you 176 awesome people. I think with that being said, it's a good time for us to call it quits. If you're in Dub Club, if you're in Discord, I will be posting my picks later on this evening. We've got lots of NBA to look at. We got a little bit of NHL to look at. I'll be looking at all of it. If there's any picks worth playing, I'm going to send them out to Dub Club members, and hopefully tonight we win together. Thank you so much for being here, guys. We will catch you next time. Peace.